It's time to make some additions to the aquaponics system. Normally I would put these in a pond, and I'm probably going to put some of these in that waterway behind at the very back of the property. But these are water lilies, and nothing like a good water lily. We're going to put these in the deep water culture bed and let them mature and grow there, and eventually I will move them, but for now we're just going to put them in there. Now, in order to put this in, one of the problems I had, of course, since we're doing an aquaponics update, I'm going to show you what happened. One of the problems I've had is that when we were gone, the pump failed. Of course, always fails when I'm gone. So I'm replacing the water pump, I'm replacing one of the air pumps, and this deep water culture bed has gone low. If you look, I'm adding water to it now. We're going to let the water sit in here, dechlorinate for a day or so, and then we're going to run the pumps to circulate this water. However, the one thing that has done really well is the duckweed. So before we can put the water lily in, we need to get some of this duckweed out. Now this will be the third time I've done this. Pull this duckweed into this corner and get a big, huge handful of it. And over to the fish it goes. This should be enough. This will give us enough room. Actually, we're going to push it over here. So we want to have this just deep enough. And there it goes. This doesn't have to be very deep. The lily pads will come up. They'll work their way up to the surface. And this flower is done anyway, but this one is not. And we have a couple pads. And we're going to get the other lily in here, and I may clear out some more of this duckweed. All right, this one is a little different. They're different color flowers, but this one has got, if you look, the leaves are smaller. It does not have a flower stem on it yet, but the leaves are longer. So let's get this one in, see how it does. Now, the red is the underside. So we want these pads green side up. It's kind of like turf. Green side up. All right, there we are. Give these a few days. We'll see how they do in this system. I'm sure they'll be fine. All right, now since our pump is dead, we need a new pump. And I'm a big fan of magnetic pumps. I think they're better, they're more efficient, they work better. But all we need is a good pond pump. Now this is for a large pond. Now granted we don't have a pond, but it's still a good pump. So we're going to replace the old one and repipe with this one and get everything going again. Hopefully. Now luckily we didn't lose any fish, amazingly. The fish did fine. That's why I have two air pumps. One of the air pumps crashed, but the other air pump did not. So we maintained airflow, but we did not. We did lose the water pump, and the only water pump we had to use since I was gone, like I said, I was out of the country. The water pump we replaced it with was the very old water pump. Very, very small. it was enough to keep everything going, but not really effectively keep things clean. So we're going to replace the pump and get going with that. Here's a surprise. It is an earthworm. And I never put earthworms in here. I don't ever remember putting earthworms in here. So somehow we have an earthworm in our grow bed. That's actually a good thing, but shows the miracles of nature because we never put it there. All right, on top of the great thing, we have a worm in our system, but look, this stuff is reseeded. I knew we were traveling, so I intentionally did not plant things. Everything in here that grew is grown on its own. We have some weeds that I've been getting rid of. I've been picking out the weeds, as you see. But we have lettuce that's come up. Self-sown lettuce. I didn't sow this stuff. I just let it go to seed. It reseeded itself. Now that we have the pump going, it's a little more powerful than the previous pump. But that's all right. We just upend this a little bit to adjust it. What'll happen is more water will flow to the deep water culture bed or the fish tank. In fact, let's take a look at the fish. Now, considering the fact that the pump did crash and these fish were without adequate water flow, this tank looks a lot better than I anticipated. We didn't lose any fish, but we only had one pump working, one air pump working, and we didn't have the water pump working. Now we're back to having adequate water flow. We've got water coming into here. The fish are getting big, they look good. And we've got water going into the deep water culture bed as well. So, there's our update on the aquaponics system, guys.